Okay. Uh, Tried to upload this before. Apparently, it didn't take. So I'm going to have to redo it all over again from scratch. But several of you asked me about my action on my 629. So this is the action on my 629 Classic. This is the action that I did true. I timed it. Uh, Basically, owned the whole action, timed it. So this is what we ended up with. The other 629 is in the house, the one I'm working on right now. That's a complete other video we're going to do on actually timing, internal workings, and all that. But this is just a quick one off on Bitsy here. And it's hot. So I'm chugging lemonade, doing videos at the same time. So anyway, everybody swears up and down that this thing has a half-pound trigger pull. I have gauged the trigger, and I did set the trigger pull to 4 pounds exactly. Now, it will actually, and I'm not talking about, ounce or two up or ounce or two down, she will break at exactly 4 pounds every single time when you put it on scale. But the reason that everybody thinks this thing has a half-pound trigger pull, and I had to break out the chopstick for this. Yes, those are empty cases in it. Again, try to get this behind the camera without knocking the camera over. But if you look here, whenever we go to trip the trigger, again, I'm behind the camera, so this ain't working real great, but alright, if you notice, there is zero, and I'm putting pressure, there is zero pre-travel. From the time you lay on the trigger till the time it breaks, and there's no over travel either. From the time you put pressure on, and I'm putting pressure on now, to the time it breaks, the travel in single action from back to front, from the time you put pressure on until it breaks, and we have mic'd this, and mic'd this, and mic'd this, time and time again, so we get consistent results. The travel on the trigger is 0.007 inches. That's the entire trigger travel till it breaks. Again, this goes back to, everybody's like, well, I filed down my sear, I filed down my, and so it's got a hair trigger on it. Oh boy, yeah. If you don't keep that sear and trigger engagement exactly even all the way across, basically what you end up with is just a little bit of contact. And I've seen guns where people have done that. You can actually take the hammer and simply take your thumb and push on the back of the hammer. Now this one, I'm not going to do it right now, but I've actually taken a mallet and hit this hammer. It will not disengage. It will not trip. It's a full sear to trigger engagement. It's just the fact that, and yeah, I spent 18 hours on this thing, but it's totally safe. And again, it feels like a light trigger, but it takes a full 4 pounds of force to trip. So what a lot of people think, well, this is a hairy trigger, or this is a stiff trigger. It just goes to show that perception is different among people. But again, pressure, break. So the double action on it now, I haven't gauged the double action on it. So I'm not sure exactly what poundage we have on the double action. But it's a very, very smooth, very crisp. And I can do that with my hand turned sideways because there's really not that much force. If I had to take a guess, again, I haven't actually done this, so this is just a guesstimation. I would say the double action is probably running around 6.5 pounds. But I did work the trigger spring. So again, when we get into the other 629 and we're actually showing the internal working parts, the trigger return spring has a lot to do with what your double action pull is, more so than what the hammer spring is. But, and as you see, when she's timed here, it breaks dead in time every time. Again, in the next video, we'll show you about how to drag the cylinder to try and see where she locks up at. If you can see there, that's full lock. Some guns, when you go to cock it, now you see I'm cocking really slowly. And there's my lock. Alright, some guns, you actually have to cock the hammer to get the cylinder to spin to give enough momentum to lock up, because it doesn't always make the paw. But again, that goes into your timing. Again, we'll get into, I'll just stick my finger on it to show the drag, but we'll get into drag timing. If that paw in the hand is not exactly perfect, if you lay your finger on it or lay anything else against it, then what happens is it keeps that cylinder from rotating all the way over. But again, we'll get into that on the timing, but it's just Bitsy. This is one that, yeah, this is my EDC. This is my everyday carry. Yes, I do carry this in jeans and a t-shirt, and believe it or not, nobody knows I have this thing on me. But that itself is another video. But anyhow, those of you who's asking me about the 629 and the trigger job on it, get my chopstick back out here just to show you. This is my trigger. And that is bottomed out at the back. So that is my over travel. And maybe you can see the pre-travel. Again, I'm doing this with a chopstick, so pre-travel, brake, fire, and that's over travel. So from start to finish, she mics out every single time at 0.007 inches of trigger travel. Okay, so I'll go ahead and upload this for you guys just so you can see. And then again, the next one, we're actually going to break out a strip 629 and show the internal workings. Going to do some actual timing on the piece. But this should do for now.